I'm Matt Braunger. This might help.
I am not a doctor.
This might help.
I'm not a professional.
Let's have fun. This honestly is a good time.
Honestly, I got no idea what I'm doing. What's going on, Corey?
I'm Matt Braunger. This might help. The podcast.
Hey, welcome to This Might Help, the advice podcast that leans on the comedy. If you need clinical help, please get it. I use it. It helps. I have a therapist. Talk to him a couple times a month. Evens me out. Check under the hood is what I'm saying. This is for fun, okay? This is for a good time. You know, like I always say, it's kind of like, a guy hands you a weird pill at a party in the 60s, and he's like, hey, this might help. I don't know. It's kind of like that. Except it hopefully won't lead to anything terrible. With me today is a guy who, I know it's weird to say you look up to people and stuff, but I figure we've got a couple years left on this strange blue rock, so why not give it up a little? Rick Overton's with me, who is not only a teacher, he's an improviser and a comedian, and has been for some time. He's a contemporary with some people you might have heard of if you haven't heard of him, but those people that you look up to him. So with that level of build-up, take it away, asshole. No, Rick, how are you?
Thanks very much, Matt, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, man.
Of course, man. I just think
I see. Oh my!
No, you're
You're
perfect for this show because I remember the last couple of times I've seen you, and you're always cracking me up, but also like you have a kind of savage optimism, which I really dig and respect. You know, and it's just, you know, I know you've been through a lot and lost some very good friends, and it's you know, I remember seeing you were doing a bit about like, oh, you should just laugh at death, and I was just like, wow.
Don't you know how comics process stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
As like some people, they say there's a place you need to file it in your head and put it or get it out. And you do this ritual where you burn a piece of paper, like that makes it
right.
Does go back into your dreams at night, you know. The oversimplification of the psyche, or the simple, this pill fixes that problem kind of a what we live in.
Sure.
I just find that comedy is kind of spectral in how it goes out into all the different things it could.
Right.
It could find its interpretation, and it's because it's all an improv, right? That's an improv. So certainly in our no hand reaching out culture, the people in us, your hand's got some cash in it. I'll help you if you got cash.
Yeah. What's in it for me? You know,
and that's the message, and that imprints into everybody's head. Well, the authorities treat it that way. I guess I should look at it that way.
Absolutely, yeah. And the more the authorities turn towards the worship of the self, you know, the more it's kind of like, no. I mean, I want to help those people out, but really, what can I get, and how can I get away with things? And that's accepted now. So great, you know.
Bingo. I think we just had a breakthrough.
Yeah, I am in a particularly weird area, literally, because we're in a rental house, and at that tail end of it.
I thought you were out on the open sea.
I know, you'd think it. My fleet of
your galleons.
My galleons with Spanish doubloons. Yes. We've had the smoke alarms go off in the middle of the night, and we have an 11-month-old, and it's just a dream. I tell you, when
your 11th-month-old smoking again.
Just, you know, like us.
And the kids, once those kids start, they start so young.
Yeah.
Man, I hate when they see an 11-month-old smoking. No, start with language, honey. Get the language first.
There's so many other ways to be cool. Let's be honest.
You use words to be cool.
So anyway, like this is the one place in the house with no smoke alarm, and the electrician is here, and he's you know, so I'm in here, and this is the modern age we live in.
Where are you? What room you in?
The upstairs bathroom. So that's
the bathroom. Well, that's the shower curtain. All right.
I'm sitting on a closed toilet. Closed toilet.
You got a good echoing tone there because you sound sort of like
Good.
Like you're in the cool, one of those Berlin nightclub caves where the Beatles were discovered, except painted completely the opposite color and
Yes.
brightly lit.
Yes, and I don't have to play for 12 hours straight, as they did. So when you started out in comedy, you started very young, and you started as a partner. You're in two sets of partners. And then what was your moment where you were like, I got to do this alone? Because I started out doing improv, and then the only child in me jumped on stage and started doing open mics by myself and was like, oh, well, nuts to this team crap, And of course I stayed with it and got back into it and still love it. But, I definitely think of you as an improviser too, but
Oh, thanks. I'm good.
a little bit more of a stand-up. How do you see yourself, and what made you be like, I got to go alone?
Oh, well, part of it was with the team. I was starting to find I was improvising more, and he wanted to stay with. We craft these finely honed pieces. He had a left brain way of looking at the final performance.
Oh.
Start playing around. Don't dick around once you get up there. I mean, we can in a jam session come up with stuff, but it goes to the notepad. It doesn't go, hey, we just keep flopping around once we're on stage. He was not confident in that process surviving the road or being on stage, and certainly in the wrong hands, he'd be absolutely right about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just felt like there's a way to do this. There's a way to keep it going. And finally with set list.
Nice. Yeah. The best.
You can play stand-up and improv together.
Yeah.
But that wasn't happening when I was doing it with Roger back then. They didn't have that. You would just sort of go up and you could freeform it. You could do one of those sets. Jonathan was known for doing it. And there were guys, Lenny Schultz, Robin came up, started doing. There were people just playing.
Yeah.
It was a thing that people knew about. It wasn't a complete mystery by then. But I to finally pin it down to certain kinds of things that almost anyone can start to play and do with like set list. I think set list takes you to a place where you never would have had faith in going, I'm not going cold in front of that audience, but I might try this because I can blame some of it on you. If it goes bad, I can bounce back on you, and then I don't have to eat the complete failure. So yes, I will try set list. And they come back from doing set list and be like, oh, I can kind of do this. I had no idea. I don't need that blaming crap at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to put it on anybody. I want to put it back on me. I want to take all the credit for now.
Yeah. And I think one of the great things, those of you who don't know what setlist is, it's an internationally done show by now that basically you go on stage and you don't know what your theme or your punchline or your thread is going to be, and you look behind you and a thing flashes on the screen behind you, and it says an insane word, some sort of collaboration of a couple different words, and it's like you're I wouldn't say you're without a net because you have a structure there, but it's also the momentary joy people get when a comic's on stage and they're doing something by rote and everyone's getting bored, and the comic throws it away and goes, you know what, I don't know if I can trust my wife, and they're like, oh, something real is happening, like one of those things. I feel like that's what setlist is beginning to end, because it's you're just shooting from the hip, and the audience is a part of it with you. So it's really great. It's really great.
And you'd be surprised how many comics don't trust his wife.
Maureen is a really shady lady.
God, she's staple. She's Maureen Stapleton.
Yeah, come on. I remember doing set list at Cobb's during Sketchfest.
Sketchfest, what year?
Oh God, 2015 maybe. I mean, no, maybe even like 13.
Were we the
What's that?
Were we the same night?
I don't know. Proops was there. Robin was there.
Yeah.
And I remember it stood up my mind because I had a good one, and I got off stage, and Robin's in that little backstage area, and he goes, "Seamless," and just jumps on stage past me. And I was just like, oh, I'll always have that. That's nice, you know?
Seamless from Robin.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
I know.
That's pretty good stuff, man.
Yeah. That'll keep me going a while. That'll keep me going a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. So what drives like your enthusiasm, the optimism I was talking about before? What kind of gives you that? Is there something you learned along the way, or is it just how you've always kind of been, or am I not seeing the harsh darkness you're trying to portray? I don't know.
I have a survival mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make it through this. How come there are still people here after all the crap that's happened to the earth?
Yep.
Why have this conversation? How did we get to this point?
Mm-hmm.
Unless someone had to have this attitude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is a perpetuated species. I don't necessarily, I'm not perpetuating the human species, but I can perpetuate the philosophy as to why we live, rather than just we are eating functionaries that then sleep and die and breed, and that's it.
Right.
We're not food takers. We're supposed to do other stuff too, and food was supposed to be part of that journey.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just fuel, and so we mix our metaphors a lot with these things, you know. But I think real life includes creativity. Real life includes that, because that's kind of like your journey through evolution. That's your original design, is evolution, and improv and evolution are best friends.
Yep. It's funny. I'm just, there's always that line that improvisation is the soul of jazz. I think improvisation is the soul of evolution.
I do. Yeah. Random particles that then make sense later.
Yeah.
The butterfly effect, and you can see what kind of things have been made from those ripples.
Yeah.
Improvisers get that verbal jazz thing right away, but I try to remind people everywhere that you're all improvising. You didn't none of you rehearse the conversations you're having now.
Right. Yeah. You don't know what you're going to do next. You know your intention.
Right.
You know the effort you're about to put out. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm an improvangelist. I try to put that. I try to put out the message to everybody that you don't even know you're doing it right now, but that's what you're doing.
That's really true.
I don't know if I'm worshiping. I don't know if I call it the word worship, but I'm giving some credit to the right brain and the gut.
Yeah.
They've saved every time, and your conscious mind just recorded the moment and then took credit because it didn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, nothing to do with it. It's digital recording. Yeah.
I remember when I started out as an actor in doing plays in grade school, middle school, high school, college. And I remember early in high school, I was in some French farce, and like the buttons unsnapped on my pants, and no one knew but me. And I'm holding my pants up with one hand. There's this scene where this guy walks in, he puts his hand out like, "Let's shake hands. It's a deal." And that's the scene. Like it's the end of the act. And I'm just like, I just said, before we shake, my pants have become unsnapped. I must resnap them. And he waited, and the audience cracked up, and I took it and shook his hand, and it shut. And it was that thing where they were like, "Wow, you saved it." And I was like, no. I was just saving the moment. I didn't even think of what is the best thing to do. It's like, I can't let my pants fall and shake his hand, and I think that's that we forget how often we do that when people get on stage, they're like, "Well, I can't just make it up." And it's like, all you're doing is making it up all the time. You should,
even when you're doing your interpretation of Shakespeare, the improv includes your voice, your tone, your timing.
Yep.
If you hold one performance to the other, you can't say they're identical.
No way.
But the words are the same, but there's a whole different way it's metered out. Different musicians are playing these words now.
Yeah, I had a yoga instructor tell me once that you can make the same motion twice, just like I just did, and I just used different muscles both times.
Mhm.
You know, it's fascinating. He told me that, and my mind was blown for the whole day. He's like, it's like that app, Waze. What's the one that shows you different ways to get to the same place? It's like that in your body. I was like, oh, that's crazy. You know,
Hmm.
there's a
Never
lot
thought
of
of it.
a lot of different directions. So I always ask Rick on the show if, and I'm sure yours is a yes, but do you, first off, I don't know why I do advice podcasts. It's just fun. I like the comfortable and not, on anonymity. And wait, what's the word?
Anonymity.
Thank you. Anonymity. That people can call in and just share something. They don't say their name, and I never know what's coming. My guest doesn't know. Only Renee, the producer, knows. He picks the calls for us. But I never, I get asked advice sometimes, but not a ton. Do you get asked advice?
I think comics will check in with me sometimes about either what do I do in the biz right now? And I say, man, good luck, start a YouTube channel and things like that. The words I never thought would come out of my mouth earlier because I didn't have the info, but I'm really watching who is perpetuating their career now in a situation where all the old ways of doing it are kind of just falling away. You got to reinvent, stay in, stay online, keep an active viewing audience. And they go, yeah, but you're not getting paid for that. What would this have cost you for a publicist to do?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's adaptation. It's very hard. It's very hard for me to self promote, online a lot. I was always kind of like, cringy away from that, but it's like you have to. Otherwise, I hire someone to do it, and they probably won't do it as well as I could because they don't know me as well as I know me, and what I want to present. And that's a really the PR line is a great line because I've hired PR people and they do their best, but you're kind of like, what is my money getting me here? This isn't. I could have called that paper,
And there's some lovely PR people who have done fantastic things.
Mm-hmm.
But in between, there's this whole universe of everyone else who dreams and hangs on and feeds into the Las Vegas model where the house wins, but you're not seeing it back with your bucket of nickels,
Yeah. That's exactly right. So damn it. Half the bucket's gone.
Start the wagon. That's it.
So that said, are you ready for our first call?
Let's try it.
Okay, let's try it out.
We're here to help.
Yes.
Hey, Matt. This is Rob from Nashville. Just got my tickets. Excited to see you coming to Zanies in October. Got a question for you. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible, but I know you always say need to give you enough info, so here we go. My wife and I met when we were in grad school in Atlanta. Been married for about 10 years. We moved to Nashville about 5 years ago to be closer to my dad, who was not in the best health. He passed away actually last year, after a long drawn out thing. But in the last little bit, my wife has actually been talking to me about where she wants to move to North Carolina to be closer to her best friend and her husband and their family. We don't have any connection to North Carolina, to their town, other than them. And we have a great friend group here in Nashville, which includes my best friend, who I've known since I was like 3 years old. And basically, I'm in that situation where it just feels like somebody here is going to have to sacrifice something. I love it here, and I kind of want to stay in Nashville, but she really wants to move there and be closer to her best friend and family. So I'm really not sure what to do here. Any advice that you have would be greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot, man. Bye.
Well, Rick, why don't you take first crack?
Well, if sometimes people go round for round.
Yes.
And I went round one with your dad.
Yeah.
Go round two with my friends.
Wow.
And you're thinking, the guy's thinking, yeah, but friends are not the same thing as a dad.
Yeah.
And she's going, a move is just as traumatic for me as a move, no matter where I move. Moving is like one of the 3 grand traumas, all right? So if I'm going to give you a trauma, it doesn't have to be about a dad. It can be about anything. It's not my dad. It's your dad. So, I mean, that's the subconscious at work here going, yeah, well, where's the fairness here?
Yeah.
Where's the balance? I'm giving it all. I'm not seeing much back other than, oh, when it's your friends, we stay.
Right.
So this also might be partly a test to say, well, what are you willing to give me back? And she's starting to figure out where this is headed because she'll use that as the model for how to view the rest of it.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I just look. My only advice to you is just you got to sit down and you have to tell her exactly how you feel, like lay it all out so that the amount of times in my life where I'm like, I wish I would have said this or shared this, because then it built a resentment for when I did move, and then it came out after a few beers and I was screaming. It's like you got to lay it all out and go, are you not happy in Nashville? Because I'm very happy. You have one friend there. We have several friends here. What is with this friend? Are you trying to build much more of a future with all of us there and like our kids? What's the plan? I just don't see the thing in uprooting. Now I'm only talking from your perspective because I don't have hers. But I think, Rick is absolutely correct. I think what you can do to start is just have a brass tacks conversation. Just sit down and go, we just have to lay it all out exactly what we want because we're too old to not start planning. There's no kind of we're in college, man. You know what I think is cool? Ann Arbor. Let's go there. I got a bro. We can hang out there, sleep on a couch. Like you are adults now in adult relationships, and you gotta, if this is her thing and she's like, I gotta go, I miss this person so much, it's murdering me or whatever it is. Sounds a little crazy, one friend, but at the same time, maybe you dig deeper and go, do you hate Nashville?
And are these excuses for another deeper dynamic that's really dividing the relationship altogether? That's too uncomfortable, the big elephant thing. That's the real reason that the couples love finding legitimate sounding excuses to make it look, when the story is retold without them being present, how they kind of came out not smelling so bad,
Yes, exactly.
How many times have you seen that, right?
Oh yeah. No, it's not that. It's not that thing that keeps me up at night. No, it's this little thing.
Yeah, it's minutia. It's not this core elemental thing.
Yeah, the thing. It's not the thing I'm most scared to talk about. No,
right. See that.
No.
Shadow? What shadow? I don't cast a shadow.
No. Yeah, dude, I think you just got to have a serious talk with her and say exactly how you feel, but also ask her to just share everything she can because you don't want to. So I'm not saying, if you want something, you got to fight for it, but you can argue in favor of it if that's how you really feel. And she can too. And just try
she's got to have an open ear to listen when she says her side of, I gave you so much. What are you going to give me now?
Without a doubt.
You just got to respect it because he clearly got his own version of that dynamic.
Yes, exactly. But like Rick was saying, not in these words, but I think there's more to that iceberg than what she's showing you.
Oh yeah.
And that's fine, but just talk about it. It's honesty in a relationship is very important. So
better to get to it than to not get to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't go away when you ignore it.
And dude, thanks for coming to the special taping in Nashville. That's October 3rd, for those of you wondering. Nashville, Tennessee, at Zanies. So little shameless plug at the end of life advice for you. But thank you for coming. Be sure to say hi. And, I'll say hi to your gal, too, if she's there. And your friend. And her friend. Have her fly in. Plug. All right. Ready for the next call?
Let's do it.
Go.
Hi, I am addicted to ketamine,
I inject it into my veins. No, I don't do that. But I have had people done it to me. It's fucking awesome. But I do inject it in my muscle, and I don't know how to not ever want to do it again. Like, I wouldn't say I'm addicted because I don't do it every day. I don't feel the need to do it every day. I don't even want to do it every day. But I genuinely don't think I'll ever not do it. Like, if I go to a fucking show or a festival or some shit, I'm gonna do some fucking ketamine. Like, let's be real here. Is there a way to get rid of that urge?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I do average about one heavy one per show, and that's and caller, honestly, man, thank you for even for your sake, just to call and to say it out loud. Everything you just said took an incredible amount of bravery and to be that honest, even with yourself. So again,
I don't know what to say exactly, except
yeah,
meditation, hiking, and perhaps ayahuasca, which is supposed to be the curative for every addiction on earth. But with a guided journey, not on your own, not at a party,
nope,
not a rave. You go to a real, legitimate, shamanically trained guide, and maybe do it that way. That's what I hear. I haven't gone there, but that's what they're saying. And so, supposed to be clinically, it's turned into a drug called ibogaine, which is the pharmaceutical version of ayahuasca. Not the same exact effect, but supposed to help. And I'm not well versed beyond that. I know that Timothy Leary was using it when he was dying of cancer, and he would join John Lilly, the inventor of the flotation tank, and the two of them were expressing that they were exiting their body to go look at where they're going to be relatively soon.
Wow.
And so they were getting a walking tour of their death, and they could return to the body and take care of affairs here.
Interesting. Good.
That's the way they were putting it.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
I think if you treat it a thing like that, that's kind of supposed to be used in a sacred way and a non-sacred way, and it is not so good for you. Maybe not the worst thing in the world for you. It's just that, and also it's not treating it with the respect that it should be treated.
Right.
As a sort.
I think the thing that stood out the most for me was the moment he said, "I don't see how I can. I can't see myself wanting to go to live without it," or something like that. It wasn't that heavy, but it was just like almost this kind of, I can't see myself not wanting it, not wanting to do it. And I mean, that's anyone I've ever known who's had, a craving, a pull. Strongest word would be an addiction. And I'm not saying you are addicted, but you did start out by saying, I've never had it in my veins. Wait, no, someone else has injected in my veins. I shoot it into a muscle. And I'm kind of like, dude, potato. I know ketamine.
It's the way a brain works. The addict brain is always looking for the maybe this, but then maybe not, all in one sentence. And it jumps like a rabbit back and forth over the ditch,
Yeah, at least I'm not that guy. This guy.
It's not deliberate deception. Unless you consider that whatever part of the functioning addict brain is trying to manipulate the rest of it, the rest of the person. It is self-deception. So there's that going on, an absolute fealty and belief in that, but the sort of the artful dodger in the way everything is described, ducking and dodging. And it's a prey behavior. Prey runs like that. It's always running, and it's always tricking and trying to get away from being eaten.
Yeah.
So you're living in the amygdala, the prey mind.
Yeah, and I mean, I would just say, not that I'm a specialist in substance abuse and stuff, but I've always been a drinker, and I've had to tone it way down as I've gotten older. But I found one thing that helped me was I used to think, I don't know why I would go on the road and not drink. I used to think that way. And I have weekends where I'm just like, I'm not going to, because I took a weekend and went, why don't I just not? And instead I just hung out with comics and had better mornings every single day. I had better sets, and I enjoyed myself. And it was kind of like, not that I was like, oh, I need alcohol to have fun, but it's like, you really don't. If you surround yourself with the right people and create the right activities and look at life the right way, rather than go, well, I have to have this to have this.
You know, it's that old social ritual. You want to see, I want to have permission to go, I could throw my arm around you and you won't go, hey, what's the big deal, man? Why are you breaking these boundaries? And I can go, hey, I've had a couple of drinks. And go, okay. And they throw an arm around you and everyone's singing a song. You never thought you'd sing a loud song somewhere?
Oh, it's great.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you singing a song? What are you, crazy? Not if you're drunk.
Nope, it's okay.
These basic elemental things, unless you find another way to have that social excuse to do it. And it has to be the way your brain's been conditioned your whole lifetime to see that excuse as having its place when it has pop open, you know?
Yeah. So like, dude, I would talk to your friends about it. Think about the ayahuasca thing possibly, because I've met several people that it's helped them just drop a thing. I said, like, I don't want this in my life anymore.
I've heard that.
You know, and but start with just trying not. Go to the concert, go to the movie, to the, the party, and not shoot K. Try it. The thing is, it's like, I started out in the Chicago scene. We were all drinkers. We'd all drink every single night. I know your generation, you sound young. I meet young people all the time who are like, my thing's kind of ketamine. I don't know what it is, but that's just swept. It's just everywhere. And you're going to reach a point where you kind of go, I got to do way less or none, and think of ways to find joy outside of it. As much as that sounds, I know, fucking insane to you right now, probably, and I'm not being facetious. So
it makes sense when I'm on ketamine.
Yeah, he's listening to this on ketamine, going, "Oh fuck you, guys."
Boy, special K.
Special K. All right, well, hope that helps, man, and thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. Rick, you ready for call number 3?
Let's hit it.
Let's hit it.
Hey, how do you get and stay motivated to do simple tasks? Because I think that they're kind of lame, and I don't really like to do them, but, we all got to do them. Yeah.
Good one. Yeah. And I like the delivery. The delivery was great. Just sounding mildly stoned and about everything.
Or just exhausted.
Yeah. Well said.
Stoned. Oh, it might just be I have freaking had it with a job that requires this.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I'm volunteering for any of this, and I'm not getting paid enough for this, and they don't think it's worth any more, so they don't think I'm worth any more, and that's kind of bringing the tone of my voice down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just using conjecture here, but that might be the dynamic that plays into. I know other people, when I see them go through that slumpy, what's the use kind of thing. How do I? Because I have a world that still requires some basic maintenance that I have to do these things for. But if you're forced to do it at work and at home, it's that kind of thing. It just gets to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't, and it's so condescending. Come up with a fun game you can do. Come up with, think of whistle a tune when you're doing it. That's what I do. I make up a tune. It's fun, make up a song that involves the chore and sing it and try to make it rhyme. You're choking me. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not sure there's a great answer for this one. Some of it is? Let it suck.
Yeah.
Let it be bad and just let it not destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
And give yourself those basic instructions through this weird time we're in. We're not going to have any perfect answers for anything, so let it be bad.
Yep. Yep.
Find an ironic way to joke about it later. That might be all you get.
Yeah.
Maybe that was an ironic joke.
Mm-hmm.
You got, oh, right, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reward is we're still here talking about it.
That's correct. The only thing I would add, let it suck, is the to me the 80%. The only 20% I will add is think of a treat you're going to give yourself later. You know, maybe it's a nice coffee. Maybe it's you're going to watch a movie you've been trying to watch on TV, or just something you're like, I'm going to take this hour and a half and this will be mine and I'll have this. That's
your cell window of sunlight in your prison cell.
That's
and when that beam of light, and you watch the arc of light go across the floor, you know, to the end of the day, and you mark it on the wall, and that's it, you know. And I won't give you pretend optimism, because that's so insulting.
No,
don't give it to me. Don't tell me. Don't candy coat things for me. I'm a grown up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, some of it's just bad, and there's no fix.
I've gotten through some rough stuff by just saying, well, this is fucking terrible, out loud to myself. No one else in the room. Bad news, a terrible moment.
Right.
I've told this story on the show before, but like when I was a PA, I was carrying sandwiches to a car and I realized I'd lost my keys and the meter had run out. And I just yelled, this is really awful. And I found the keys. Not that it passed a spell, but it was like I needed to just have something to just tell myself, this is the worst. This is such the worst.
When a comic is dying on stage and they do an ironic, well, I chose the wrong night to record my comedy special. Yeah. And the crowd laughs at that part. It's the acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone loves the acknowledgement of the real rather than the rehearsed. And so many of our days, we march through them rehearsed. So that's that improv thing again. We say, no, the conversations, yes. But a lot of what we do for rote, like that thing that's getting to that caller, the rote of it, the repeat of it, is getting to you. And that improv gets you out of it. And so I wouldn't always say everyone needs to do improv, or even treat everything like it's an improv.
Right.
But maybe you just, like you say, this is really awful. You just say, I need an improv here somewhere. Improv. And maybe just by launching that part, somehow the rusty, the gears start to turn in that old machine again.
Yes.
You start shaking it free so you can get it to run cooperatively with the other half of your head.
Yeah, that's good. Because distraction of the one thing that you're concentrating on too much and exacerbating is a good thing. So yeah. Well, okay. Look, I think let's do this last call. If you're ready for one more, and then we'll plug some stuff, and that'll be the show. Is that sounding? Can we fit this last call in, Rick? Is that okay?
Feeling like we're on a roll.
I think so. Hot stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, is it okay for a grown woman to, still believe in Santa Claus? She's hot, but definitely believes in Santa Claus. I'm asking for a friend, so yeah. Short and sweet, baby. Talk to you later.
Man, I've said didn't see that coming on the show before, but not like I'm feeling right now. That was like on a country road, driving slow, and then just took a hard left turn off a cliff. That call.
Now, let's run his call through the sincerometer to see how sincere he was about that. A 3. He gets a 3.
Oh.
I don't know if he has that girlfriend or not.
Yeah.
But let's answer it as though that were a sincere question.
That's what we do.
All the fun's in that half of town.
Mhm.
A girlfriend who believes in Santa Claus. I have to ask you how old this girlfriend is, man.
Yeah.
We got to go to the age question because maybe we got another problem on our hands there. But I don't know. I don't even want to go here. You take it. This is
Look, this is we either do a second podcast and extrapolate this thing all like another hour, or we just succinctly go. I'm not saying it's not okay for her to believe in that. People believe in some crazy shit that has no malleability outside their own imaginations and collectively so. But that's a little out of bounds in terms of believing in this actual flying man originating in Germany who...
Behind it?
What's that?
You know the story behind reindeer and Santa Claus?
I know the Krampus thing and stuff, but
reindeer would eat a certain kind of fungus that hallucinogenic, but only once having processed itself through their kidneys into urine. They would urinate on the snow. The shaman would make snow cones and eat them, and would hallucinate. And suddenly they saw flying reindeer with a bright red man at the controls.
Is this for real?
That's right. No, well, that's what the other legend is, and it's right that that's the other legend.
Yes.
So they, because I wasn't there. I'm not 67 yet. Okay, hang on, I wasn't there.
Come on. Yeah.
Come on. I'm still young by George Burns standards, and or Dick Van Dyke,
Right.
And which I'm shooting for. I want a piece of that, don't you?
Oh,
right. Mel Brooks, baby, come on. You and me want to be two old guys at a deli saying what I tell you?
Hell yeah. I will high five you and sprain my wrist. That sounds great.
That's right. I'll bionically high five you with
I'm in.
I'm in. Have like Prometheus. But yeah. So the Santa Claus myth is evidently completely hallucinogen based.
Then, caller, my only answer is tell this person, your girlfriend or your friend, asking for a friend. Part of me wonders if you're asking for you and calling yourself a she, which, if that made you comfortable, good. But if you want to believe in this hallucinogenically generated gift giver that flies into every chimney around the world, when only 30% of all worldwide houses have chimneys, probably less than that. Sure. In terms of it being okay, it's nuts, but sure, it's okay. Great. You or she.
And I say, no matter what, though, definitely leave one of your teeth under the pillow.
Right. Leave a tooth under the pillow. Leave your shoes at the bottom of the stairs for gift.
Right.
Don't forget that.
Got to do the cookies and milk.
Cookies and milk. Yes. And I believe it's also have your most bovine or reindeer-like friend eat hallucinogenic mushrooms and drink their pee. That's the big one. You have to drink their pee. Snow cone method works best, but I don't know if you're going to find that Germanic snow.
We're not fussy about it, hot or cold. I don't think it makes any difference. You do you while you're drinking deer pee.
Drink deer pee.
Yeah.
So on that note, those are the calls. Rick, thank you so much for being on the show.
It flew by way too fast.
I'm glad because I just want it to be fun. I always think of podcasts as you're hitchhiking into someone's life. You're like a fun hitchhiker as they're driving down the road of life and you're making them laugh and you're like, this is my stop. Enjoy the rest of your ride. Is there anything you want to plug that you've got coming up or going on right now?
I have a comedy special out based on Set List.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. What is it called?
Rick Overton's very first Set List special. You can see it on Amazon Prime. Rick Overton's very first Set List special. We're hoping to make a bunch of them because the thing is about Set List, it's an hour. And the thing about Set List is you don't need to work 2 years of new material up and wait and then do. I can just start rolling tomorrow and then the next day.
I love it.
Knock special after special out on this.
Oh,
and so check it out. Let me know what you thought. Drop me a note after you saw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will definitely. I'm gonna check that out next week. I'll put it in my calendar. That sounds fantastic. Hell yeah, dude.
Just throwing the suggestions at me. I turn and go, and that's it.
That's it. Off to the races.
Guys, check that out. And yeah, thanks again, man. Let's do this again one day, huh?
I will have you back. I would love to, man. And I would look forward to see you in the real world, not on.
We'll have that too.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right,
Cool, man. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Matt.
Take care, brother.
You too, buddy.
Well, that was fun. We talked about hallucinogenics, and I feel like I'm on them now. If you would like some advice from one of my crazy friends, guests, and or myself, call 323-763-0228. Again, that's 323-763-0228, and thanks.
This Might Help with Matt Braunger was created and hosted by me, Matt Braunger. Produced by Outer Circle Media. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcasts.